What's up, guys? My name's Cam.
My name is Joel, and together we're Sports from the Gutter. We're just here to talk about some sports, so we're just going to get right into it. First topic of the day, Adam Silver not thinking that the Warriors and Cavs are disrupting the competitive balance in the NBA. My thoughts on this are that Adam Silver is feeling really good right now because he knows that this finals is about to get great ratings to the NBA. Reason he's saying that the Warriors and Cavs are not disrupting the balance is because he doesn't want to make the other teams look bad. And he knows for the time being, people don't really care that they're seeing the same teams.
I'm kind of tired of it. A little tired of it.
I think we got one more season until the majority of people.
But, all right, it gets to the point where it's just like, all right, we know who's going to be in the finals from, like, October when the season starts.
We knew this. Everyone knew this.
So, but I think three is too much.
I think we wanted to see one to end the tiebreaker.
That's true. All right, so yeah, I guess the Warriors did win back in 2015. Cavs got in 2016 with that,
you gotta
record-breaking comeback.
You never leave it after 1-1. You know, we're playing games of 2K. We're not leaving it after one person wins one and the other person wins one.
Not gonna lie though, kind of wanted to see the Spurs maybe give the Warriors a little competition.
Yeah, that would have been nice. If there was a better competitive balance in the playoffs, I feel like nobody would have any issues with the Warriors and Cavs. Like, if they actually had to earn their spots in the finals, no issues whatsoever. But the fact that it just smooth sailed, that just kind of fucked it up.
Yeah, like the first time, this is the first time the Warriors ever went straight, to the finals. The first time any team has ever done it, undefeated. And it's not really the Warriors' fault at all. It's not the Cavs' fault. It's not the league's fault. It's just I feel like teams haven't really figured out how the formula of how to play like the Warriors and the Cavs. Mm-hmm. So the Cavs pretty much. They have a great friendship with each other off the court, and you see that pretty much convert onto the court where, you could see that unselfishness when passing the ball. You'll see LeBron wide open, but the man, he'll swing it to the next man, swing it one more time, swing the ball, get the open shot. That you don't really see in a lot of other teams. And it's not, it's not something that comes easy. It's definitely, the coach, especially you see with the Warriors, Steve Kerr is definitely, an advocate for that. Pretty much, he's the one who, drives it to his team to pretty much, pass the ball. No matter, even if they have, talent everywhere, the starting five, everybody's talented, everybody's capable of scoring. I definitely feel like, they still, regardless of the talent in each individual player, they're passing the ball like, they've been playing together for years and years, even though Kevin Durant, this is his first year. His numbers are looking amazing. He's getting his easy shot without having to actually work for it compared to when he was on the Thunder. So you can actually see that, he fits perfectly with them. And, I definitely feel like this is going to be a good finals, nonetheless. But I am a little tired of seeing it. So I can't wait for this to, just be done, honestly. I am looking forward to it, but after this, I'm hoping some other teams make some moves or just hopefully figure it out, because I'm tired of it.
Yeah, honestly, I'll take one more season of this. This season, and that's it. After a while, then I'll get tired of it too. Really, it's just going to come down to which teams improve themselves over the offseason, because most likely LeBron's not getting dethroned anytime soon. And even with teams increasing their potential, it's not like LeBron's just going to sit back and let the Cavaliers degress. He's going to try to make moves for the Cavs as well.
So, all right, so yeah, definitely. I see that in the East, but what teams in the East do you see, making moves in the offseason to give at least some type of competition to the Cavs? Because right now it's looking like there's nobody in the East that even comes close. Even though the Celtics did give them their only, one and only loss. Do you see any other teams in the East right now that may have some good moves in the offseason that could potentially help them, try to stop the Cavs?
The Celtics and the Wizards are the only ones. Wizards being if they make a big enough move, like big move.
Wizards bench. First of all, the Wizards, they definitely, and John Wall came out and said it, and he was right for doing so. They have, a great starting five, but the bench, every time, John Wall and Bradley Beal and, Marcus Morris were off the floor, it just seemed like, the Celtics just ran with it. So, I definitely feel like they need to make some improvements with their bench. Maybe the Sixers, who knows? Kyle Lowry goes to Philadelphia.
Kyle Lowry.
Trust the process. Trust the process. I don't know, man. Trust the process.
All right.
Trust the process. If Kyle Lowry goes there, I mean, you may not believe in him, but he's definitely a scorer. I'm not gonna say he's the best, ball handler. I'm not gonna say he's the best, playmaker. But the kid can score. You cannot deny that. The kid can score.
He's not even a kid. He's like 30.
He is 30 years old. I don't know why I call him a kid, but
he looks like a kid.
He does. He does have a very, very childish face.
Yeah.
But he can score. The man, if you will, can score. Yeah. So, they definitely have that. Ben Simmons hopefully comes back healthy. You have Joel Embiid. I feel like they have potentially, if they make some other good moves, I feel like in the offseason they could do well. In the West, I do see, Chris Paul goes to the Spurs. Mm-hmm. That'll be an awesome look for them. Maybe that'll, rise the competition in the West as well.
I think it'd be a better look for Chris Paul than it would look for the Spurs.
That's true. Opinion. Because
best move right now for his career.
Oh, definitely, because he wants the ring for sure. And
there's no other team that's providing that for him right now.
Definitely, they're definitely not the Clippers, because you've seen it every single time
for $2 million a season. Next, Adam Silver actually came into news again with talking about that they're thinking about rolling back the one and done rule, which is a whole rule regarding high school players having to play 1 year in college before they are eligible for the NBA.
Finally, because they should have repealed that years ago. I still don't understand why they even made that rule. I mean, I see a little bit why,
Yeah, public image looked good. But in the long run, it just didn't make any sense. Seeing as how that 1 year of college, they're not getting any benefit whatsoever.
Like, I'm going to take algebra and I'm going to be...
Yeah, their resumes are still not looking good with 1 year in college.
Right,
it's not helping the situation.
Kind of glad they repealed that, and I like to see maybe in the future, you have kids like Zion Williamson, who the kid is like enormous. He's a tank, dunking on kids, dunking over kids, and he might as well just be in the NBA next season. I believe he's a junior now. But the kid's looking good. He definitely has the skill set. He definitely has the size, to transfer over to the NBA. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say he's the next LeBron, but he's looking like a left-handed LeBron right now.
He's got the size.
Definitely has the size of LeBron. So he's making it look easy. I feel like if a player is in high school and they're just making it look easy enough and, they can definitely transfer. They have the size. They have, the most important, skills. That I feel like they should just go straight to the NBA, because 1 year in college isn't going to do anything for them. Let's be honest.
It's not, and you pretty much know when you're that good what you're going to do for your career. And if you want to be an NBA player and scouts are telling you you're going first round, there really is no sense of being in that college for 1 year.
Exactly. Look at Markelle Fultz.
Exactly, yeah. He's another player who can clearly score the ball, no problem. If you're a Grayson Allen type who it makes sense to spend that 4 year, get your degree, he's probably not going to translate well into the NBA.
Not at all. He won't translate at all. He's not. If he does go to the NBA, he's probably going to be just coming off the bench and then maybe D-League eventually. I'm not saying he's, you never know.
Doesn't look good yet.
But I completely doubt it, to be honest.
Second rounder, if that, definitely doesn't look good for him. But unless you're that type of player, you're not going to get a lot of Tim Duncans in the league, who goes 4 years in college and actually ends up being a Hall of Famer. So really the one and done rule. I'm glad that they're actually thinking about making it done.
Right. Stay 4 years or to go straight to the NBA. And, he definitely has to be, a specific type of person. You can't just have anybody, going straight to the NBA. But, good looks on Adam Silver there. Definitely repealing that. Hopefully it gets done pretty soon, because, it honestly makes no sense. But, speaking of Markelle Fultz, he can potentially be the first, round pick. And I'm not even going to say potential. We all know he's going to be the first pick. So it's going to be awesome to see, him and his other, Washington alum, together in Boston. That's going to be pretty cool to see. Definitely think they could play well together. So what's your opinion on that? How do you feel about, Markelle Fultz and Isaiah Thomas in Boston?
I like Markelle Fultz in Boston. I'm not sure if him and Isaiah Thomas, that situation is going to go great. It really depends how much of the team Markelle Fultz eventually has control of, as far as who's going to be their main playmaker. I don't think if Markelle Fultz pans out to be a great player that a lot of people will assume he's going to be, Isaiah Thomas is going to be looked upon as that guy anymore. Eventually, we saw a lot of faults with Isaiah Thomas throughout this playoff series. I lost a lot of faith in him. I know you didn't Really, I know you're still a big fan of his. I like Isaiah Thomas also, but I think a lot of good points were brought up about him in this playoffs, especially with the Cavaliers, that his size is a big deal. And by big deal, I mean it's a liability. I think Markelle Fultz, he is a point guard also, and he can lead a team as well. Obviously, he's not as well as like a Lonzo Ball type, but I think certainly better than an Isaiah Thomas type.
I don't know. I mean, my personal opinion, I definitely feel like the Boston Celtics weren't even supposed to make it that far in the playoffs in the first place. So the fact that they even got there is because of Isaiah Thomas, because he's putting up in the regular season damn near 30 points a night. In the playoffs, he's even doing more impressive things. So I feel like people are taking away too much credit for him for just the Boston Celtics winning one game on the Cavs when he has he's out with the injury. I feel like it's ridiculous to assume that just because he was out is the only reason why they won that one game. First of all, definitely the Boston Celtics. They're without Isaiah Thomas, it did make it easier on the Cavs. But the only reason why they lost is because I feel like the Cavs definitely had a game plan going in. Like they were going to take advantage of the mismatch with Isaiah Thomas's size, so they're kind of caught off guard when he, their whole game plan was built around him. So when he got injured, I can see them, not having a game plan as far as, how to play against them. But, Marcus Smart did step up incredibly. I never seen him play like that, honestly. He definitely filled that role, completely. So, kudos to, Marcus Smart for that. But that's the only reason why they even, won was because of Marcus Smart and his ability to score the basketball that night.
Jaylen Brown also had a great series.
Jaylen Brown definitely did. And I can see that kid doing big things as well. I don't know if you heard, but he walked right into the front office and said that he wants, he's in it for the, he's in it for the long run. He wants to play. The kid wants to play, and I see a lot of potential in him. So I feel like, in the offseason, if they can snag Gordon Hayward, maybe have to make some trades.
That would be
a great, potentially a big three, honestly. I know you don't believe in Isaiah Thomas, but, the kid can play. His size, if he was, they were the number one seed in the East. So that's, to say.
I feel like that was by default, though. I feel like the Cavaliers didn't want that number one seed as much this season.
So you're gonna tell me LeBron James?
I feel like they
didn't want it.
I feel like
this is what you're saying to me right now. LeBron James did not want to be in the first.
Didn't they sit halfway down in that last game? And plus, I think it translates. My theory is they also didn't want to go against the Bulls in the first round, seeing as how they went 0-4 against the Bulls throughout the season.
But we've seen LeBron James in the playoffs. He's a completely different player. He would have swept them.
But I feel
easily.
like they knew that they were not losing anything.
There's
by losing
no
that
reason
first
why the Celtics, the Cavs would want to have second seed. They played terrible defense down the stretch, and the end of the second half of the season played terrible defense. We saw it. The Celtics played amazingly. Isaiah Thomas was playing amazing basketball. So I feel like anybody who says that the Celtics would be better off without him lost their mind. Personally,
I will say that I'm pretty sure Danny Ainge would have a much easier time figuring out what to do if the Celtics would have won a second game without Isaiah, or if Isaiah would have played the whole series.
All right, you're saying that, right? What point guard do you think could replace him? Marcus Smart? Marcus Smart's coming off the bench. He's not going to play that consistently every night.
I feel like Markelle Fultz eventually.
As a point guard, but just him and Gordon Hayward, is that enough? Is that enough to stop LeBron James from doing what he does?
I feel
7 years in a row.
I don't think either with Isaiah Thomas, Gordon Hayward, Markelle Fultz that they're stopping him anytime either way.
Either way, I definitely think that's potentially the only thing that could.
That's
right now
the only
in
thing
the
that
East.
could, but I don't think it's stopping him though. I don't think it's stopping.
I feel like that team right there could stop LeBron. I know you don't agree with that, but that's my personal opinion. I definitely think that them as a team could definitely do some damage, maybe in a year or two. Not going to say necessarily right away because Markelle Fultz, you never know. We've only seen him play in college. I definitely have some confidence in him going to the NBA.
One thing I am excited about is to see Gordon Hayward and Brad Stevens reunited on a team together. I think that should make for some interesting.
Definitely the story to
Yeah, that would make a nice little matchup right there.
Absolutely.
Going into June 7th, we finally got a date for Lonzo Ball's workout with the Lakers. Apparently, this might be his only workout with a team. There's talks that he might work out for the 76ers, seeing as how they have the third pick. But it looks like most likely the Lakers are just going to be his only choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear, cut and dry right now. He already turned on the workout with the Celtics, which, if it was me, I would want to go to the Celtics. Just seeing that, they already made it to Eastern Conference Finals. They don't really need a lot of rebuilding. Lakers are looking terrible. It's sad for me to say that, but I do think Lonzo will help a lot in a few areas. Not going to say defensively. He does play pretty good defense, but he's not going to go over there and fix their, horrendous, worst in the league defense right now.
I think the Lakers will make a huge mistake by not drafting Lonzo. I don't think there's any truth to the rumors that they're actually considering not drafting him, and he has to actually blow them out of the water with his workout. I don't see the point of the workout. I think it's pretty clear that the Lakers are choosing him. I think they're just trying to play the upper hand and not let LeVar and Lonzo know that they have him in the bag. Lakers will make a huge mistake because even if Lonzo doesn't turn out to be a good player, you don't want to risk him not, being a great player on another team. Then it just looks bad saying that you had a chance to draft this guy and you passed up on him.
Sounds like the Brooklyn curse, the Nets curse.
Yeah,
recently.
Exactly.
How do you feel about right now if D'Angelo Russell and Lonzo Ball were to be this Lakers starting backcourt?
I don't like D'Angelo Russell at all, honestly. I've always not. He doesn't strike me as a Laker. I don't think D'Angelo Russell's gonna like it with Lonzo Ball. I think he was just getting used to having his own team. He had to wait for Kobe's retirement. And now when he finally gets his own team for a season, it's already going to be taken away from him once Lonzo gets there. No one really likes... I'm not sure what's the relationship actually like with D'Angelo Russell and the rest of the team after that whole situation.
Years ago. I feel like that's long gone, hopefully.
I just don't feel like he's going to like it there with Lonzo. I don't think that he's going to get along with him well. I think insecurities are going to come out. Personally, that's the way I look at it. If I'm D'Angelo Russell... I do think he'll be a good choice at the 2 for now until the Lakers are able to get some more players.
I think immediately if they get Lonzo, they're going to have to trade one of them too. And it'll be sad to see Lonzo, get traded and he gets, he does something amazing in another city.
I highly doubt that.
But it's just the thing that, the reason why it's not even offensively, it's defensively. So neither of them, can pretty much cover any assignment at the 1 or 2. So, they're both, Lonzo definitely, he's a good defensive player, but because of his size, he's not really super quick. He won't be able to cover, the hard defensive assignments from point guards, like for instance, Mike Conley. The Currys, the Kyrie Irvings. He's not gonna be able to guard those assignments. So, and neither of them do. And we've seen it that the Lakers, their defense is absolutely horrible. So, Lonzo Ball, I'm hoping they don't think that he's just gonna come there and fix that horrendous defensive problem. So that alone in the backcourt, they're gonna have to immediately. I believe they're gonna have to trade one of them to for a better 1 or 2. That can cover most defensive assignments. I feel like that would be perfect. They have a young team under Luke Walton. I definitely feel like Lonzo will be good under Luke Walton because he was under Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr definitely had that mentality, that unselfishness, that pass the ball first. So Luke Walton's going to carry that over to the Lakers. Lonzo already has that mindset, so I feel like that's a match made in heaven. It'll be stupid for them to trade Lonzo. I personally, I'm not going to say I'm a big fan of D'Angelo Russell. The kid can shoot. He does have that veteran poise, but personally, as a backcourt, I don't see them being like, a Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan backcourt, a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson backcourt. I don't see that at all. But yes, I definitely feel like they should have to trade one of them. Lonzo, I definitely think he can do good things for the Lakers, in time. But for right now, as far as the backcourt goes, they're gonna have to do some trading there.
What I do see happening is they're most likely going to get into a situation. Magic Johnson wants Paul George. Lakers want Paul George. Lakers fans want Paul George. Paul George wants the Lakers.
Amen.
So I don't see a situation where, unless they find some way to keep D'Angelo there with Paul George, I don't really see that happening. I think it's in Lakers' best interest to just part ways with D'Angelo Russell. He's not a Laker. He doesn't strike me as a Laker. Growing up seeing Kobe Bryant leading the Lakers throughout all those years, and then seeing D'Angelo Russell doesn't look right to me. I do think Paul George would make a much better fit. Obviously, him and Lonzo would be a nice little pairing duo. Lonzo with the pass first mindset, and Paul George with his scoring ability. It would be a great match as opposed to D'Angelo Russell mixing up, and I don't think he would be a nice little mix into that team.
Yeah, definitely. I know, like, the Lakers have been trying to get, big names for the longest and just been failing. So Paul George is finally showing some interest in going to Los Angeles, and it'd be awesome to see that pair.
Not to mention Magic Johnson, he wants to make that splash.
Oh, definitely.
Now that he's right there with the power,
and he wants to make the changes, absolutely. And the changes, the Lakers have a new front office, a fairly new coach. Hopefully, Lonzo. So it's gonna be a good thing for Lakers fans out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, coming up tomorrow, we definitely have the first game of the NBA Finals.
The big day.
That big day that we started off with talking about how I'm tired of seeing it, but not gonna deny that it is gonna be it's the highest level of basketball in the world. Nobody can deny that. Who do you have winning the finals, Joel?
I'm going Warriors in 6.
Warriors 6, okay.
I don't think that it's gonna be easy. Because if the last finals is any indication, sometimes Curry and Thompson, they don't really bring it. And Irving and LeBron usually do bring it when it comes to the finals, which I think a lot of people are forgetting about. Only difference is this time is that Kevin Durant is on the Warriors. And Kevin Durant, he always kind of brings it. Like, the dude's a 4-time scoring champ for a reason. Not to mention Steph Curry is having a much better playoff series compared to last season. Where the last playoff series, people were really questioning whether or not this was the same Steph Curry that won back-to-back MVPs and was the unanimous MVP. This playoff series, however, he is shooting about 45% from the field. He's averaging almost 28 points a game. And if he goes into this final series with those numbers, with that confidence level, and KD just does what KD normally does, Clay just hits his usual 14 points a game, and Draymond just plays defense like Draymond plays and doesn't get suspended, which I know should be an easy thing to ask for, but with Draymond you never know, especially considering LeBron's going to do everything in his power to make sure that Draymond gets suspended.
Yep, I can see that. The agitating Draymond Green seems like that's an easy thing to do. Oh yeah, so definitely. I also do think that Curry last year, they tried to blame it on injuries, whether that was the fans or whether that that was Steve Kerr trying to defend him. I do feel like that shouldn't have inhibited him. He's supposed to be a superstar caliber player. Jordan, played in the playoffs with the flu. We all know that story. I feel like Curry really didn't have an excuse, even though he was getting bullied, cutting on screens, driving to the basket. He was really getting bullied. I feel like that is not an excuse for the way he played. And I feel like it takes away from some. I feel like he definitely, is going to play amazing basketball, but I do feel like the Cavs are his kryptonite as well. So I do have the Cavs winning in 7. With that being said, I feel like the Cavs, LeBron specifically, is just looking for, people are really saying that he can't be like Jordan. So, especially like the older crowd, people who grew up watching Jordan. I, being 23, didn't really grow up watching Jordan, kind of caught, the very end of his career on the Wizards. So, I did see, Jordan's greatness, of course, watch highlights and all that. But I also do feel like, LeBron is looking like potentially the best basketball player of all time. So I feel like this ring will just make the whole debate easier, in my opinion. With that being said, I do see the Cavs winning in 7 because LeBron is going to, pretty much just be an unstoppable force. And, even though the Warriors do have a tremendous, team, they have, a tremendous bench. I do feel like the Cavs' unselfishness alone, their willingness to pass to the open man, just to kick it to the open man, LeBron himself being LeBron, the GOAT. I do not see him losing, another, finals for a very long time, honestly. I feel like if he has this remaining supporting cast, he could potentially, have 2 championships, 2 rings in a row, maybe even 3, who knows? But I do have the Cavs winning because LeBron is LeBron. I do know the Warriors have maybe more talent, but the way LeBron's been looking is just like it looks like nothing is going to be able to stop him.
I feel like this series, Kevin Durant's going to be the big difference maker here. And we're acting like, I think people forget that Kevin Durant went against LeBron already in the finals and that
lost.
he doesn't have a vendetta to beat him this time around. Especially now that he has Curry and much better Golden State team around him this time around. And he's more mature this time around.
Yeah, it does seem like he's getting easier looks, of course, because he doesn't have to work as hard for it. But that aside, I do feel like the matchup against LeBron will kind of inhibit his game. First and foremost, LeBron is one of the best two-way player both on the offensive and defensive end on that team. The Cavs defense, they looked a little shaky during the regular season, but you could see that everybody as a team stepped it up completely on both ends of the floor. So, I mean, I definitely feel like the Cavs made some great moves, adding Kyle Korver, adding Darren Williams, because they definitely needed a playmaker coming off the bench, so that was definitely a good move. LeBron can pretty much get whoever he wants. He wanted a shooter, he got Kyle Korver. So I feel like that will be, another catalyst in this game, in this series. But game one may have the Warriors winning it specifically because they're at home. It seems like they're unstoppable at home. But in the long run, I do see the Cavs, like I said, winning in 7.
Well, I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Game 7's at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. That's pretty much it for today. First podcast. I think it went pretty well. We're going to try to do this daily. We're going to try to keep churning out material every day. Pretty much, yeah. Subscribe. Anything more you want to say?
Thanks, that's all. Thank you guys for listening, and hopefully you enjoy the content that we do release in the future. And take care.